Go. Go. Okay, so this one is not, this one is to the leadership group of the Heart of Agile community. And in that we have the people who are the consultants and the people who are the meetup organizers. And I should talk a little bit louder. And people ask, you guys ask me questions like, where are you going with this, Alistair? Like, what is your intention? And my idea here is, since Patrick is in the room, doesn't know the answer to his question, I'm talking to Patrick, and so I can watch, his face, and if he has a question, he'll just, lob out a question. We'll steer this, maybe 5 or 6 minutes, something like that, not too long. And the thing is this. Let me see. I met a wonderful guy in Buenos Aires, and someone knows his name. He's from Peru or something, and he has a model for like communities, and he says you need 3 things. You need purpose, autonomy, and limits. He said, so what's your purpose? And Craig Brown asked me this question a while ago too. He said, I don't have a purpose for the group. And people get upset about that, because what do you mean you don't have a purpose for the group? Of course you have to have a purpose for the group. And I finally concluded, just for myself, because I can only speak for me, I don't want a purpose for the group. I don't have a purpose for the group. I'm not going to construct a purpose for the group. My idea is that we've got really interesting and awesome people in the group, and that the people in the group in different subsets can create purposes. And any purpose created by any subset of people in the group is going to be a wonderful purpose. And I'm not going to get in the way of that. But what is important to me is that this group, this leadership group in particular, develops a certain personality. And I would say my purpose is to create the personality. That would be the purpose. The purpose is actually to the side. The personality is everything. If we get a bad personality at the beginning, it's almost impossible to repair. And so my energy, my caring is around the way that we talk to each other, the interactional style. And so what I try to do is just model. If I see it being done well, I just kind of like want to amplify that, turn it up. And the first time I saw this was in the interactions between Sole and Georgia. Sole and Georgia, when they're talking about stuff, they're very open, they're very relaxed, they're adult to adult, friend to friend, they're open, they accept ideas, they want to help the world. There's this generosity in the listening and the interaction. There's an openness. You would call it a naivety, an innocence. And looking for an example, my favorite example is from Damon Parker. And after a night when we had been, like arguing what's the difference between modern agile and, Heart of Agile, and somebody put on Twitter something about a smackdown between Heart of Agile and modern agile, and Damon said, like, that literally made me feel sick that type of conversation was happening. And I said, well, how do you see Heart of Agile and modern agile? And his answer was, perfect, and I use this all the time now, and I want everybody to use it. He said, 2 Sherpas helping people up the same mountain, right? And I get goosebumps when I hear that, because that's an attitude of generosity toward everybody, and inclusiveness, right, and friendliness. And you see this, if we could get this personality, so I love it. More examples. The first meetup in Buenos Aires, and Rob in Scotland, who speaks no Spanish, dialed in on a Zoom. And he sat through the whole frickin' meetup not understanding one word of Spanish. And by gummy, he was going to be there to show his support and understand. And Sola had a back channel, translating for Rob what was happening. But I go, oh my gosh, this is fabulous. This is what we want, right? And that's what all these videos are about, is for us to all exchange. And so in the Tampa one, we had Rob there from Scotland, we had Sola there from Brussels, Carol was out. I don't know how many people dialed in, but there were people from Tampa who dialed in, there was somebody from India who dialed in. But my point is the personality, right? So all I can do is, when I see examples of good personality, I just want to turn the volume up. So when we say where are you going with this? Where I'm going is to create a group of people who interact in this way. Then I don't have to worry about what our purpose is. The goals will change this year. I'm looking forward to subsets of this group having different ideas, initiatives. Hey, let's the 3 of us go do this, or let's the 5 of us, whatever that is. That'll be really interesting as long as we've got this open way. So that's in the big purpose question. Related to that, a very important, Rob and Sole were, on a Zoom with me, and I had been studying this book that Carol lent me called Work is Love Made Visible. And I was writing notes about leadership because I'm stuck in a leadership position over here. And there was this key phrase. It says, lead as you are. But that's the only way I can lead. I can't lead according to whatever stereotypical classic leadership stuff is. I don't have any of that in me. And when I was looking at that, I drew this picture here, which hopefully, if I do that, you guys can all see right there, right? So my view is this. So we're all adults. We're all powerful people. Everybody here is, a leader in some fashion. I don't need to tell you guys anything, frankly. We're going forward somewhere. I'm one of 12 or 20. And in my view, I don't have a distinguished position. People draw leadership like above or in front or something like that. I don't have that concept. For me, there's us doing work. Everybody's doing whatever they can. Now, I have an obligation to you guys. None of you guys have an obligation to me, but I have an obligation, which is to make clear, in this case, what are our values, right? And I just gave you that. It's that personality, that we have this like openness, welcomeness, dialogue. Heart of Agile is not telling, it's asking. It's not telling, it's listening. A culture of listening, a culture of dialogue. I won't tell you what to tell your clients. I will dialogue with you about ways to dialogue with your clients. So this kind of thing is the purpose. And so my leadership role is this video is to say this on the website, every time we meet, in every meetup, every time we're together, is to keep reiterating this because quite frankly, I want to be on the beach in Ecuador watching the sunset, so I'm likely to vanish at any time. So you can't have any particular reliance on me to show up, and people think the leader's going to do all the crap that's left over. I don't have time for that. You don't have time for that. Whatever. We're all people. So that's my leadership model, right there. And the last thing I'll say is this is my digest from. I'm not going to. Yes, I will put it there. No, I'm going to read it. I'll do that, but I'm going to read it.
I just wanted to, your hands are covering the writing, so I was trying to position
That's
it.
Okay. How's
so
that? We can do that.
A little higher.
Patrick's my perfection
And there
coach.
you go. You're good.
He's going to make me more professional.
Freeze frame that.
Yeah, you guys can take. Yeah, you guys can video snap that. So here's what it said that spoke to me in the current context. Number one, lead as you are. So you have to figure out who you are and lead that way. So this is how I am. Irresponsible, ADD, sitting on the beach whenever I can, right? I don't like to lead. Actually, it hurts me to do that. So I have this cute little model of what that means for me. The second sentence that is important to me is increase their sense of power. So my job is, and everybody can do this. Everybody can do this, but me, I have to, right? Anything I do to diminish your power, I don't want to do. So you help me, you guys help me increase your sense of power, increase belonging. And that's what these YouTube thingies are for, is we're trying to create the sense of belonging inside the group that you would like to work with these people, right? And this is this welcoming thing. Increase personal meaning in the group, and that should be everybody finds out what they want and they use this to advance that. Keep alive the global meaning of the group. So these days I say that our group, it's not strictly true, but it's a nice phrase. I want to create a culture of listening. Nobody knows what that is. That's fine. The words just do good things to people, and they go, yeah, I want some of that too. And if we do more of that, it'll just be better. So that's where I'm going. And inside, everybody should be seen and heard. And the damage question is, how did I accidentally diminish you? So we do some feedback things. A good feedback toward me is if I did something that accidentally diminished you, let me know so I can try to dodge it. The only other thing, I wanted to come back to the very first thing that the guy had. He had purpose, which I'm replacing with personality. Personality, what was the second thing I said? Autonomy and limits. So I want everybody to have lots of autonomy. What occurred to me is there are limits to autonomy. One of my, the things that I owe you is, and I'd like to be in dialogue with everybody about what are the limits to autonomy. What can everybody do on their own, and what would they need to check in with or get permission for before doing, like on a global scale, right? So changing the logo globally is not inside people's autonomy. Inside people's autonomy, though, is making your own logo for your own group. I love that. So the Scotland group has their own logo, right? Phil Gadzinski has his own logo. Right? George is going to come up with one day, right? Sola's working with a Latin America group to come up with for Latin. I love that. I would love to have like a clan gathering where everybody comes in with their own banner, with their own variant of the logo. I think that's superb, right? So that's autonomy, and the limit is nobody gets to change the global logo, right? That being an example of autonomy, and we'll explore that more. That's enough for now. So I'm just going to ask you then, Patrick, because you came in here with a question about purpose for the group. What would be your follow-on question?
Following meaning.
Do you have any other questions? Would you have a question?
I think you did exactly what you intended to do very well. It was very clear, and I wouldn't add anything to it.
Cool. In that case, we can stop the video. Thanks, guys.